All right, welcome to The Explainer. Today, we are digging into a recruitment pitch from a company called Freedom Financial. We're going to pull apart their blueprint for success to see exactly how it works, from their personal sales model all the way to this big promise they make about duplication. So, let's dive right in. The interesting thing is, this whole pitch doesn't kick off with numbers or spreadsheets. Nope. It starts with a really personal, emotional story. The speaker, Junior Korea, he talks about his own struggles, feeling worthless, growing up without much. And this isn't just him sharing his backstory, right? It's a really smart way to frame this whole opportunity as something that's about more than just money. It's about finding your self-worth. And that emotional starting point is so important because it leads right into the biggest idea in their entire presentation. And that's the concept of freedom. I mean, check out their tagline, freedom to be in business for yourself, but not by yourself. That is pretty clever, right? It's making a really specific promise. You get all the perks of being your own boss, that independence everyone wants, but you also get the support of a team. It's like they're trying to hit that sweet spot for people who want to do their own thing, but are maybe a little scared to go it completely alone. Okay, so that's the big picture, the feeling they're selling. But how do you actually make money? Let's get into the nuts and bolts. It all starts with what an agent sells personally. So the product here is life insurance. And they're quick to point out that this is a stable, recession-proof industry, been around forever. But here's a key detail. They say agents don't have to go out and cold call strangers. Instead, they work with pre-generated leads, basically a list of people who've supposedly already raised their hand and said, hey, I'm interested in this. And to make all this feel real, they break down the math on what they call a typical sale. Let's see exactly how they lay out these numbers. So they start with this baseline number. They say the average family they help pays about $100 a month for a policy. Simple enough. This is the number that everything else gets calculated from. All right, so you have that $100 a month premium. The next question is, how much of that does the agent actually get? Well, according to their model, new agents start at a specific commission rate. And here's that rate, 85%. They tell new agents they start at an 85% commission level. Now, this is what they consider your active income, the money you make from your own direct sales. But, and this is a big but, they make it really clear that personal sales are just the beginning. That's just step one. They quickly shift gears to what they frame as the real path to wealth, a concept they hammer home again and again, duplication. So what is duplication? It's all about leverage. The whole idea is, look, you as one person only have 24 hours in a day. There's a hard limit on how much you can sell. But a team doesn't have that limit. This is the core appeal, right? It's the promise that you can escape that classic trading time for money trap by getting other people to multiply your efforts. And this slide right here really sums up their entire philosophy. They set up this clear choice. You can work a normal job where you're just trading your hours for dollars, or you can do what they're proposing, work with people. The argument is that building a team isn't just a different way to work, it's a fundamentally more powerful way to build wealth. Okay, so how does this team income actually work? Like, how does it end up in your bank account? It's all about something they call the commission spread. Let me break it down. Let's say you're at a 95% commission rate, and you recruit a new agent who starts at that 85% rate we saw earlier. Well, that 10% difference, you earn that on every single sale your recruit makes, and that's what they're calling passive income. And this table, this is basically the grand vision. This is the dream they're selling. It's meant to show you the power of that commission spread over time. They use an example where each agent sells about $5,000 a month. And as you can see, the passive income they project just explodes as your team gets bigger and bigger. So if the whole model really hinges on building this big team, then you have to ask, who are they looking for? And what are the very first things they tell a new person to do? What's really telling is what they look for. It's not about having a fancy degree or years of sales experience. Instead, they focus on 3 personality traits. First, grit, someone who can, as they say, take a punch. Second, being coachable, someone who's willing to listen and follow their system. And third, having a good moral compass, doing right by the clients. And if you think you've got those traits, the path to getting started is laid out as 3 super simple steps. 1. Get back in touch with the person who brought you in. 2. Go get your insurance license. And 3, and this one is huge, check with your coach before you do anything for the first time. They really stress that reliance on the system and your mentor. All right, so we've gone through the emotional pitch, the numbers, the whole duplication idea. Let's pull it all together and look at the complete business model they're presenting. When you boil it all down, it's really a two-part system. First, you've got your active income. That's the money you earn from the policies you sell yourself. But the real endgame, the thing they push the hardest, is the passive income, the money that comes from that commission spread on your team's sales. That, they say, is the key to real financial freedom. So in the end, you have this model that starts with personal sales, but is absolutely obsessed with the idea of exponential team growth. It offers a very specific kind of blueprint for getting rich. And it kind of leaves us with a big question to chew on. What does the massive appeal of a model like this, one that's so focused on duplication, really tell us about our modern-day search for financial freedom?